Welcome to today's live video. I'm Jamie from ESL Teacher 365, and today I will be comparing the International TEFL Academy and the TEFL Academy's courses. This is a comparison of a more expensive course versus a more mid-level course, and I've taken both of these, I've tested them out, so this will help you decide which one is right for you. I will go through a lot of different categories today to help you decide. So if you are watching live or if you are catching up on the replay, please leave a comment and let me know where you are watching from today. And don't forget to write your questions in the comments. There will be live Q&A at the end. And then if you aren't able to make it live, you can still leave comments and I will reply after this video goes up. Okay, so let's get into our training for today. We'll be looking at several different categories, and I'll go through the International TEFL Academy and then the TEFL Academy for each category so you can really see how they compare. We have the basics and the format for each course, the assignments, what those look like, what they are, the teaching practice element, job search assistance, which I know is a big hot topic, price, another hot topic, and then I'll share some of the pros and cons in my opinion, and then a final recommendation for who I think should take each course. So this will really help you decide which one is best for you. And then we'll have our live Q&A at the end. Okay, and make sure you stay until the end because I will be sharing my discount codes for each course. I have talked to the brands and they have graciously given me some discounts for my followers. And there's also a special bonus that I will be offering for anyone that signs up for a course during the month of September. If you don't know who I am, just a very brief introduction. My name is Jamie Gajewski, and I help mentor teachers. I'm also an ESL and dance teacher. I've taught both abroad and online, and I've taught in 6 different countries. And I'm also a small business owner. I am myself right now. I don't have any other employees. I'm hoping to hire soon, but yeah, I run ESL Teacher 365. Okay, let's look at the basics and the format for each of these TEFL courses. For International TEFL Academy, you can either take this course full-time or part-time. Full-time would be 4 weeks, part-time is 11 weeks. I did my course part-time, 11 weeks, and you can take it online or abroad. I did take my course online, but there are select locations around the world where you can actually do your course in person. There are very strict deadlines for this course, so that's something that you need to consider if you have a lot of obligations because you need to have your assignments in on time. If you don't hit those deadlines, you have to start the course all over again, so just be aware of that. Your instructors are all university level tutors with international teaching experience, so they've been through it, they've taught abroad, they know what it's like. This is considered a level 5 course, which can be used for teaching abroad or online, and it's TQ UK accredited. You can check out information about their accreditor on their website. And ITA does include lifetime job search assistance. Later on, I will share kind of what that includes. So those are the basics. For the TEFL Academy, I know this is going to be a little confusing because the names are similar, right? International TEFL Academy and the TEFL Academy. You can also call them ITA or TTA. So for TTA, you have the choice of a level 3 or a level 5 course. They're both good for teaching abroad or online. The level 3 is 120 hours, which is the minimum that you need to teach abroad or online. They have an online option. I tested out the level 3 and level 5 online. or they have what they call a combined course. So this is basically hybrid. You're going to do most of your course online, and then you will do the teaching practice element in person, and that's only available for the level 5 course. This course is accredited in both the UK and the US. Again, go to their website to read more about their accreditor. And for their job search assistance, they give you a jobs board. There are also some CV templates. There is the option to add on teaching practice to a level 5 course. And the difference with this one is you get 6 months of access. So there's not those strict deadlines like there is with the other course. So just something to keep in mind. For the format, for International TEFL Academy, you have readings every week. There are quizzes on the readings. You also have weekly assignments. So every single week you have an assignment. There's also peer-to-peer discussion forums that includes your initial post to your question of the week. And then you also have to post at least one reply to someone else. And there's a 20-hour teaching practicum included, and there's no final exam. I know a lot of people are a bit confused about TEFL courses. They think there's an exam, but most of them actually don't have an exam unless you're taking it through a university. So no exam for this one, just those quizzes. For the TEFL Academy, again, you have weekly readings. They have what they call tests, but they're more like quizzes on those readings. There's only 2 assignments, so the workload is a lot less with this course. There's a discussion forum, but it's not as regulated as the other course. Again, there's no final exam. And if you're not sure if you should do the level 5 versus the level 3, the level 5 goes into more depth than the level 3 course. So the level 3 is going to be a bit more basic. The level 5, you're getting more information, but it's not as in depth as the International TEFL Academy course. And we'll look at that later on. For the assignments, so each course does have assignments, but what are they like? For International TEFL Academy, you can email your instructor if you need some help on your assignments. Obviously, you need to do this before the deadline. And they also have office hours. They're based in the US, so their office hours are going to be more US hour friendly. For me in Australia, if I had gone to the office hours, it would have been 2 a.m. for me. So just keep that in mind. There is one assignment each week. So I mentioned that I did the 11-week part-time course. That means I did 11 assignments. I just looked through them yesterday because I saved them all, and it was a lot of work. Some of them took several hours to complete, and throughout the course, you're slowly building up your skills to build up a lesson plan. You're also analyzing different teaching materials, maybe creating some activities. It's pretty intense. It's not as intense as CELTA, but it was still a lot of work, and there are more assignments than a CELTA course, for example. For the TEFL Academy, you can open a support ticket to get help from a tutor if you need. I see a lot of people post in the different ESL groups online, like, I'm taking the TEFL Academy course. Can someone help me with my assignments? Well, you're paying for your course, so your first thing you should do is to open that support ticket and get help from someone from the company who actually knows what the assignment is. So always do that as your first place to go for help. So there's 2 assignments. There's assignment A and B. So this is for the level 3 course, you create a PPP lesson plan and then write a reflection. And then for assignment B, you look at a lesson plan, create some new activities, and then adapt it for the physical classroom because it's an online lesson. So it's not as intensive as the ITA course, obviously. There are fewer assignments. They're not as intense. They aren't as time consuming. So just so you have an idea of what these assignments are like. For teaching practice, here's where the course starts to get a little bit different. For the teaching practice for International TEFL Academy, it is a 20-hour practicum, but this includes both teaching and observing. I believe you need to have at least 6 hours of teaching, but I recommend doing at least 12 of your 20 hours of teaching, especially if you're a brand new teacher. You don't want to spend all that time observing. You need to actually get out there, lesson plan, try it, work with students. And you can set this up to be in person or online. I personally did all of my practicum online, but if you've never taught before, especially if you've never taught in a classroom, try and get into a local classroom or even volunteering. Contact some place that maybe has classes for migrants, whatever you want to do. ITA does provide some resources to help you set up your practicum, but it's on you. So this is where it's a little bit complicated, right? Because if you're in a more rural area, it might be more difficult. If you're in a bigger city, it's going to be easier to find somewhere where you can do your teaching practicum, but it's on you. It's the effort that you put into it. Again, you can do this in person or online. And the biggest difference that I see between this ITA course and maybe something like a CELTA is during CELTA, you get standardized feedback, but during this one, you don't. I really wish that they had some sort of form that maybe you could be observed by a teacher when you're doing your teaching practice and they could give you some comments. So again, it's on you to really ask for feedback, ask for some constructive criticism. um, so different from CELTA, but it's still, for all the online courses that I've seen, this is probably the most intensive teaching practice. For TTA, you can have a certificate in observed teaching practice. You can add this on to your online course, and you have 3 months to complete it. You must take the level 5 course with the TEFL Academy to do this. So unfortunately, if you've done your course with someone else, you can't just do this observed teaching practice. You'd have to have done your course with TTA. And you do get 6 hours of observed and assessed teaching practice. So this is the same as CELTA. This is a bit more standardized because you are being assessed using what their criteria is. So a little bit different, fewer hours. You're not really observing, but you are the one teaching. So just so you have an idea about that. For the job search assistance, with International TEFL Academy, you get lifetime job search access. So if you want to teach abroad in several different countries, you can keep going back and using their resources. You will also work with a job search advisor after your course, and you can talk to this person and get help with your resume, talk to them about your plans, and they can give you some tips on how to get started. There's also a lot of helpful guides and resources that you get. There's a portal where you can find, for example, if you want to teach in Spain, there are some different profiles of people who are teaching in Spain or have taught in Spain, information about the visa, kind of the hiring seasons, all of that information in guides by country. There are also different alumni groups where you can ask questions that are only for ITA graduates. There's a big general one, and then there are separate ones for different countries. And they also have a lot of connections with different recruiters and maybe online companies, and they are kind of able to point you in the right direction towards those companies. Also, if you're doing your ITA course abroad, they usually help you a bit with the interview process and some of the local jobs around there. So that can be very helpful as well. For the TEFL Academy, they send you information about their jobs board. And it said that they have, over 1,000 different jobs. You also can sign up for weekly job updates, and they do give you some very basic CV templates. So as you can see, this is not nearly as extensive as International TEFL Academy, but this is pretty typical for the course price point. This one is a bit more of a mid price point. And other similar courses, they do this. They just kind of send you some information with links, maybe some CV templates, but that's pretty much it. Speaking of the price, As of filming today, the normal price for ITA is $1,599. There is a deal going on until September 15th that it is $150 off. And they do discounts throughout the year. I think I've seen $200 off, maybe 250, but usually 100 to about $200 off, just depending on if it's a holiday or what kind part of the year we're in. There are also payment plans available, and I do have an additional $50 discount if you choose to do the online level 5 course. And I have a form that you can fill out, and you'll get this discount code that you can then apply at checkout. So later on in the video, I will give you that code, and then you can also find it down in the video description. So this is an expensive course. I will be honest, it is very expensive. It's still less expensive than most CELTA courses. So do keep that in mind, but this is quite an investment. So let's look at the TEFL Academy. This is going to be more the mid-level price point. So as of filming today, the level 3 is $415, but they do have a deal going on until September 10th, which is $165. Level 5, $563 normally. It is $225 until September 10th. And then if you want to do that combined level 5 with the teaching practice, so you do some of it in person, some online, normally $988. It is $395 until September 10th. And you can get an additional 10% off any of these lowest prices with the code ESL365 at checkout. So as you can see, yes, there is a deal going on until tomorrow, but don't worry, they do these different discounts again throughout the year. This is pretty common for TEFL courses. They'll have, different sales around the holidays, or right now, probably the back to school rush and all of that. But just to keep that in mind. So if there isn't a sale on, I would say wait a little bit and then watch, because there's usually a sale. And then you can always use my discount code on top of that. Let's get into some of the pros and cons. For International TEFL Academy, this is the best job assistance of any TEFL course that I've tested, including CELTA. CELTA, we basically got nothing. Everything else, they basically give you some links, and some of them don't even work. So if you do want job search assistance, I do always recommend International TEFL Academy. The assignments are challenging and helpful. I've been teaching for many years, and I still found the assignments to be challenging, and I can see how they'd be very helpful for new teachers. There's a lot more interaction in this course, and that's due to the forums. And if you take advantage of those office hours, there's also different lectures that you can attend. And this course is good for teaching kids and or adults. CELTA only focuses really on teaching adults. We spent one lesson out of all of our lessons talking about teaching kids, but it's very much adult focused. So if you're not sure if you want to teach kids or adults and you want a more intense level 5 course, I do recommend International TEFL Academy, because it does help you with teaching both of those age groups. The cons. Obviously, this is an investment, but if you are serious about teaching abroad or teaching online and you want a really good course, then it is worth the investment. For the teaching practicum, the con is that you really get out of it what you put into it. So yes, you can easily kind of not really do much. But if you want to be a good teacher, if you want to have a good experience, if you want to learn a lot, you need to find yourself a good place to do your practicum, and you need to ask for feedback. There are tight deadlines and unequal workload with this course. I did this course over Easter break, and I was traveling, and it was stressful because I still had to submit all my assignments. And I found that some weeks, the readings and the assignments took a lot longer than other weeks. So my recommendation is always to kind of do the readings ahead as much as you can, and then carve out some time for those assignments. You don't really get the assignments ahead of time, but you do get information on the readings and the quizzes ahead of time. Also, if you're doing an online course, of course, it's a bit different. It's not going to be that same experience as an in person course. Although, if you do want to do an in person course with ITA, they do have that option for abroad. Now, let's look at the TEFL Academy. What are some of the pros? First of all, obviously, the price point. It is more affordable than International TEFL Academy, but that doesn't mean it's the same quality. So keep that in mind. If you only want to teach online, you don't really need the ITA course. I would recommend the TEFL Academy over ITA if you know that you only want to teach online. If you have a lot going on, you're working or you're traveling, TTA is better because there aren't those strict deadlines. You can complete the course at your own pace and you get 6 months of access. And I still think that the TEFL Academy is better than other courses at the similar mid price point. So if you're looking at kind of ones that are all in the same range of price, I would go with the TEFL Academy. The cons, like most of these mid price point courses, the job search is quite lackluster. You don't really get much for it. It's a more basic course, so it's mostly reading. You're not going to have as much interaction. There aren't as many assignments. There's no teaching practice unless you add it on to your level 5 course or you do the combined course. So don't forget that if you're wanting some teaching practice. And it's just not as rigorous as ITA. So I wouldn't say it's truly equivalent to CELTA or a true level 5 course. They may say it's level 5, but in my opinion, it's not really comparable to something like CELTA or ITA. Okay, my recommendations. Who should take each of these courses? So pay attention to this because this might help you really decide. For International TEFL Academy, anyone who is new to teaching ESL, if you've never taught before, I recommend this course for you because it is more intensive. Anyone who wants job search assistance, again, ITA has the best job search assistance that I've seen, so I would recommend ITA. If you don't have a bachelor's degree and you want to have a really good, high quality level 5 course, then I recommend International TEFL Academy for you. And non-native speakers who are fluent in English, if you're looking for a good course, I would recommend ITA. Again, you want to be as qualified as possible, so you want a high quality level 5 course. If you are a non-native speaker, they are going to ask for your English level, so you'll need to provide that with an official English exam. For the TEFL Academy, if you only want to teach online, I recommend the TEFL Academy for you. If you are a native speaker with a degree and some sort of teaching or tutoring experience, then TTA is probably good enough for you for most locations. If you're not sure that you even want to teach English as a foreign language and you want to just get an idea and have a bit more of an affordable course to get started, then I recommend the TEFL Academy. And then you can always upgrade to CELTA or to ITA later on if you want to. But this is a good way to get an idea of what it's like. Okay, again, I will share my discounts and then a special bonus, and then we'll get into the live Q&A. Again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will go through them. So my discount for the International TEFL Academy, you can go to eslteacher365.com/ITA-TEFL, and that will go to a form. You will fill out the form and then you'll get a discount code that you can use to get an additional $50 off any online level 5 course. So write that one down if you're interested in ITA. And then for the TEFL Academy, very similar, eslteacher365.com/TTA-TEFL. And then you will select the course that you want. This is good for level 3 or level 5 courses, and use code ESL365 at checkout. and you'll get that extra 10% off on any discounts that they have. So write down this one if you're interested in the TEFL Academy. So for a bonus, a special little bonus for you, if you do purchase an ITA or a TTA course during September 2024, I will include a free 30-day trial of my membership Teach Abroad Club. So all you have to do is send a screenshot of your enrollment email to jamie@eslteacher365.com. Let me know that you signed up for the course, and then I will grant you access to my membership for free. So this includes a live training each month, access to all of the previous live training recordings, also access to my course, which is the TEFL Teacher Roadmap, which helps you go from not knowing anything about teaching abroad all the way to moving abroad, everything in between, visas, where to teach, how to find housing, negotiating your contract, all of that. So if you've been wanting to test out Teach Abroad Club, then you can get that special bonus. So again, just send me a screenshot if you have enrolled in your course during September 2024, and you will get that bonus. Okay, let's go into the live Q&A. Let's see what questions we have. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Interesting. So Sean says, greetings from DC. I've taken the TEFL course from ITA, but very curious to see your take on both organizations. Awesome. Pedro is watching from Venezuela. Hi, Pedro. Natina is from the US. Excellent. How are you doing, Natina? Dan's watching from Taiwan. Catching what I can of the live while I'm getting ready to run out the door and take a U-bike to work. University teaching. Very cool. All right. Let's see. Let's look at some questions here. Okay, Cyrus. Hi, Cyrus. Hello, Jamie. Nice to see you again from Vancouver, Canada. I had a couple years teaching experience of online classroom and private one-on-one. Which TEFL course do you recommend? That's a good question. So if you already have a lot of teaching experience, you might be saying, okay, do I really need the expensive course? Can I get away with the less expensive course? And to help you decide, I would say it really depends on your other qualifications and where you want to teach. So if you have a degree, if you're a native speaker, you can easily get away with just doing the TEFL Academy. But if you are a non-native speaker or you want to teach maybe somewhere that is a bit more competitive, you want to have that good teaching practicum on your course and everything, then I would go with something like the International TEFL Academy. So I obviously have a lot of teaching experience, and I still learned a lot when I took the International TEFL Academy course. TTA, not as much. That was definitely more of a review. So if you're just kind of needing your course to be able to tick the box that you have one, then that could be a better option for you. Okay, let's see, more questions. All right. Okay, so Dan says, will either program let you log and submit current or past classroom teaching as its practicum? Fantastic question. For the ITA course, International TEFL Academy, if you are currently teaching, you can 100% use that for your teaching practicum. So while I did mine, I was teaching on Cambly. I was also doing private freelance teaching. So I just counted that towards my practicum. For the TEFL Academy course, TTA, you are doing your teaching practicum with that company. So yeah, it's not the same. They have it all kind of set up and it's all standardized by them. So that in that way, they wouldn't let you. And you also, for both of these courses, even if you've taught before, you cannot count that, unfortunately. You have to do the actual teaching practicum in order to qualify and get that certificate. But good question. Okay. Arthur's asking, hey Jamie, any thoughts on the bridge courses? From Sydney, BC, Canada. Awesome. I am currently testing out Bridge. I am testing out their Teaching English Online Foundations course. I'll also be looking at the advanced course, and eventually I will be going through their 120-hour and their level 5 course, but I haven't gotten to those ones yet. So videos on Bridge will be coming soon, but I don't want to give you any thoughts yet because I'm not completely finished. Okay. Jess is watching from Tokyo. Well, we've got people from all over today. Thanks for joining. Okay, another question. Will they have you purchase physical or online books for the readings? Really good question. So for ITA, you log into their portal. It's through Moodle. Both of these courses are through Moodle. All of your readings are loaded in. Now, they say that if you want to purchase if you want to get the physical copy of the book, that you need to purchase that separately, which I find to be very odd. Like, that course is quite expensive. I don't know why they don't just send you a PDF or, include it in your course fee, but they don't. So if you really want to, I don't know if this is available to everyone, but I was able to download basically all of the readings, but maybe that's just because I had access to test out the course. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, usually you just read all of the stuff online and then take notes or whatever you want to do. But if you want the actual book, you have to purchase it. TTA is the same, it's all online on their Moodle thing. So I know that some people like to have things to look back on after their course, but yeah, unfortunately, that's not really an option with either of these. Okay, some more questions. I have a year of English online teaching experience and am currently studying for a bachelor's in education. Awesome, really good idea. Would you recommend the TTA course? Okay, so online teaching experience and studying for your degree. I would say this is going to come down to where you want to teach. Are you wanting to teach only online? Are you wanting to teach abroad? And also, are you a native speaker or a non-native speaker? If you're a native speaker, you're going to have your degree, you have teaching experience, then I would say TTA is going to be enough for most places. Places that want a bit more intensive of a course are usually places in Europe and the Middle East. So just kind of keep that in mind, and any other countries that are a bit more competitive. But normally, if you have that degree, you're a native speaker, and you have some sort of teaching experience, then the TEFL Academy is enough for you. Okay. Pedro asks, can you purchase the job assistance from the International TEFL Academy? I wish that you could. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, it's only available to their graduates. So that is why I have created my membership, Teach Abroad Club. I've created my online course, the TEFL Teacher Roadmap. That's basically job search assistance that I have created because I see that gap where people do their TEFL course, and if you haven't done a more expensive one, you basically get no help. Or even if you've done CELTA, which is the most expensive, you don't get any job search assistance. So if you're interested in that, you can go to eslteacher365.com/membership to check out Teach Abroad Club, or /roadmap to look at my online course. So yeah, unfortunately, the ITA job search assistance is only if you've taken their course. Dixie is watching from Australia. Thanks for tuning in. I'm also in Australia. Daniel is watching from Kansas. Hi, Dan. How are you? Okay, let's see. Some more questions. Hey, I'm 4 years from retirement. Ooh, so close. Should I wait until, because schools want a more recent certification than one? 3 years old, but not actually was teaching until the date of hire. Okay, so you did one before, but you're asking, should I get a more recent one? So TEFL certificates are good for life. That's just kind of how they work. But I will say that you, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm going to read your question again. I'm recent certification, then one. Um, let's see, 4 years from retirement. So they're good for life, but okay, this is what I'm going to say. They might be updated since when you took it. This isn't as much of a deal for teaching abroad, but for teaching online is changing so fast that if the courses include information about teaching online, it does get updated a bit more frequently. But I would say you're probably good to go with the TEFL course that you already have, unless it wasn't a very good or high quality one. So you can always do another one or a better one if you want to, but might not be necessary. Again, just it kind of depends on where you want to teach. Okay, Dixie's asking, can you send us a recap and link to the video to rewatch, please? So this video will get posted onto my channel after the live finishes, so you'll be able to rewatch it whenever you want to. Okay, let's see. More questions. Okay. Do prospective employers put strong consideration on which TEFL course is on a resume? This really depends on the country, on the school itself. Some of them do look for kind of name brands, you could say. You know, they want CELTA or CERT TESOL, more so in the Middle East and Europe. ITA is very well known as well. They have over 50,000 alumni. TTA is also well known, but it just depends on what they're looking for. I will say that some schools are starting to require the teaching practicum element. So if you haven't done your course and with a teaching practicum, that might be something that they're looking into. Countries also are looking for in-person TEFL courses instead of online. Again, it really depends on where you're teaching, where you want to teach. So do your research and see what kind of TEFL course they are preferring. But in most cases, these TEFL courses are going to be enough for wherever you're wanting to teach. Okay. Daniel has another question. Looking into an alternative route to licensure as a math teacher with the hope of being competitive at international schools. Is a TEFL cert still needed if I'm trying to land a math role? No, it's not. For international schools, English is going to be the medium of instruction, which means that most of your learners either are expats or that they have high enough level to do all of the subjects in English. So for international schools, you need to get that teaching license in math if that's what you want to teach. Most of the international schools will want your certification to be in the subject that you want to teach. Not always, because I'm certified to teach Spanish and I taught kindergarten and first grade in an international school in Spain. So they basically were able to grant me the visa just because I had any sort of US teaching license. But for most of the international schools, especially the more high quality ones, you'll have to have that actual license in math. But good question. Okay, anything else? All right. Let's see, some more questions. We've got more people watching from South Korea, from Florida. Oh my goodness, what time is it for everyone? Okay. If we look for work within the country, say like Vietnam, is it pretty easy to get a job? You're right. Some countries, you'll actually travel there on a tourist visa. Then you will go to different schools, do your interviews, and get your contract. And then you can apply for a work permit, a work visa. Not available for all countries, but some countries, this is more popular route. So, is it easy to get a job? This will depend on a lot of factors. Do you have experience? How confident are you? Do you have a bachelor's degree? Because places like Vietnam, you need to have a bachelor's degree. Are you a native speaker? So it also depends on if you're applying in more rural areas, if you're trying to apply in very competitive, larger cities. There's a lot of factors that go into how easy it is to get hired. Um, so it's hard to say yes or no, but if you are as prepared as you can be, as if you're as qualified as you can be, it will be easier to get a job than if you aren't. I guess that's how I will phrase my answer. Okay, looking through other questions. Dixie's asking, what is the benefit of the club? So, Teach Abroad Club, the benefit is that I help teachers navigate the teach abroad process. So if you're feeling like you did your TEFL certificate or you're going to do it and you don't really know how to find jobs or what the visa process is like, what it's like to move abroad, and you want someone to talk to, you want different trainings on all of these different aspects, you want to go through an online course that walks you through step by step, those are the benefits of the club. And you get to work with me closely, and I am available to you to help you with any questions that you have. So, love to have you in the club if you need help teaching abroad. Okay, I have some other questions that I had planned out just to give you some more information. Um, so, for example, can I teach abroad with just a TEFL? I get this question a lot. And if you only have a TEFL, you don't have a bachelor's degree, you're a lot more limited in where you can teach. For example, in Asia, most of those countries are going to require a bachelor's degree, and this is because it's a visa requirement. So, Cambodia is kind of the main country where people without a degree are trying to teach abroad. And then in Latin America, some countries like Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, they don't require a bachelor's degree, but it is preferred. So you'll find that maybe it's a bit more difficult to get hired, but it is possible. Whereas if you're trying to get hired in Vietnam, but you don't have a degree, it's just not possible. You cannot qualify for that visa. So it's important to have a high quality TEFL certificate if you don't have a degree, but it doesn't mean that you can teach anywhere that you want just because you have a TEFL, unfortunately. Another thing that's important to know, can I join the courses at any time? Yes and no. Yes, for the TEFL Academy. So, TTA, you can join at any time because you get the 6 months of access and you complete it at your own pace. That you can join at any time. For International TEFL Academy, they are done in cohorts. So, you can only do your course when a cohort starts or when it opens. And they have a limited number of spaces per cohort because your tutor is responding to all of your assignments and they're helping you through, you're talking with your peers. So those ones, they do fill up. So if you say, okay, I want to do my course next month, that might not be possible. It might be completely full. So if you're interested in International TEFL Academy, start looking at it now. You can always sign up today, for example, but maybe you don't do your course until 2 months from now, but at least you know that you have your spot. So that is kind of important to know. How do I prove my English level if I'm a non-native speaker? Some TEFL courses will ask you, if you're a non-native speaker, to prove your English level in order to be able to take the course. You might need to have something like a B2 level, which is upper intermediate, or even a C1 level, which is advanced. And you can do this by giving them an official English exam certificate. This could be IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge. Some will even accept the Duolingo English test. So you need to take one of these tests. It proves that you have the necessary level of English to apply to do one of these courses. So it's an extra step if you're a non-native speaker. Not all TEFL courses require this, but some of them do, especially the more high quality one. Do I need a hard copy of the certificate? For some of these courses, you will get a digital certificate right away, a PDF when you finish the course, but you also want to request a hard copy if you want to teach abroad. For teaching online, obviously, you can just use your PDF certificate to upload it to your profile or for job applications. But for teaching abroad, for visas, you often have to get a certified copy of your TEFL certificate or you have to get it notarized. So you need the actual hard copy, and you may need more than one, just depending on how many visas and jobs you're applying for. So get the hard copy if you want to teach abroad. Another question I get a lot is, can I use a free course like Teacher Record to teach abroad? So why are we even talking about these paid courses if there's free ones out there that you can do? Because they're not accredited for teaching abroad. These courses were usually created for teaching online. Now, even some of those online companies aren't accepting them, but for teaching abroad, definitely many of these free courses aren't accredited, which means that you cannot use them to apply for your visa. So, the only way that I would use a free course is if you're brand new to teaching English, you're not sure if it's right for you, take a free course, see if it's interesting to you, if you want to learn more. And then, if you are serious about teaching abroad, go and do a quality TEFL certificate course. Okay, let's see if we have some more questions. All right. I'm doing a PhD in English language in Korea. I'm from Uzbekistan. I'm going to teach English in my country. Which courses, TEFL, TESOL, CELTA, are best for me in addition to my PhD level? Good question. So TEFL and TESOL are essentially going to be the same course. There's not really a difference between a TEFL certificate and a TESOL certificate. It really is more about where you are teaching. So are you teaching in a native English speaking country? Because that would be TESOL. Or are you teaching in a non-native speaking country? That would be TEFL. So I'm teaching in Australia. I'm technically teaching TESOL. When I taught in Spain, I was teaching TEFL. CELTA is a TEFL certificate, is a TESOL certificate. It is the Cambridge brand. So if you are a non-native speaker, I do recommend something like CELTA or International TEFL Academy. Those ones are going to be the best TEFL courses for non-native speakers, and those are the ones that I recommend. If you're looking for a third option, then CERT TESOL is a good one for you. Okay, hypothetically, if I were to not pass the quizzes given throughout the course, would I need to re-enroll in the ITA program? So the quizzes, they're open book. You can use your information from the weekly reading. They're not very challenging. You do get, I think it's 3 attempts per quiz. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yes, hypothetically, say you missed an assignment or you missed a quiz or something, you have already paid for your course. So if you miss a deadline or you fail an assignment or something like that, you have to do the course again, but you don't have to pay again, I believe. So it's a bummer because you have to start from zero, but yeah, you can at least just do the course again. You would contact them and they'd have to start at a later date, but you'll pass all the quizzes. Don't worry. Okay. Let's see what else, if there's any other questions that I missed. Okay. So again, if you're watching the replay and you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. I will respond and I will go through my information just one more time. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, jamie@eslteacher365.com. If you need help getting started, you can go to my website/survey, and I have a survey that you can fill out, and then I will email you back with some helpful links. This could be about teaching abroad, online, or both. It just helps me know how to point you in the correct direction. For my discount codes, for International TEFL Academy, if you're just catching up, you can go to eslteacher365.com/ITA-TEFL, and you can get $50 off your level 5 online course by filling out the form. And if you're more interested in the TEFL Academy, you can go to eslteacher365.com/TTA-TEFL, and you will get an additional 10% off the level 3 or level 5 course. Okay, thank you so much for joining today. I hope that this was helpful. I know there's a lot of questions about all these TEFL courses and what they're actually like, how they're different. So if you have any other courses that you'd like me to test out, just leave them down below. I saw the comment about testing Bridge. And yeah, thanks so much for joining in. Oh, many thanks. Thanks for coming, Dixie. Thanks, Pedro. All right. I will see you in the next live. Have a great week. Bye.